Let's start with the Bronco.
That's Billy Bush's Bronco.
Where did the Bronco come from?
Billy Bush.
Whose is it?
TV personality Billy Bush, a good friend of
Yep.
ours. And
Oh, okay. Yep.
Extra.
I guess, what can you say about Billy Bush? We have only nice things to say about the man. He lent us this Bronco. It's his Bronco. It's been his project. He had it restored. He spent what I believe to be a significant amount of money on.
It looks like it.
It's like there's not a single stitch that hasn't been replaced and
combed over.
Yeah, right. And we were really fortunate to have borrowed it last minute. However, and you probably can't even really tell because it happens so fast, but the way that the shot happens where you really see the Bronco at the end, Mark is driving the Bronco and he slams the brakes so Jess and I can hop into the Bronco and then make our escape.
I'm gonna give you a physical recreation of the grade of the road that this Bronco is on, that I've driven on, outside of this house up in the Hollywood Hills. Okay, let me set it on the camera. And this is not an exaggeration.
It's about that. Yeah, it was about that steep.
Okay. It was seriously about that steep, like going almost like down.
Was Billy Bush present? Was he okay with this?
No, hold on, check this out.
No,
it was so steep.
And this is also like midnight.
Yes, it's midnight. We've been there all day. The hill is so steep.
And there had been a little insolito.
It's a solid 45-degree angle, Mark.
The hill is so steep that when I drove to the chute,
look at that.
I was legitimately worried to park it on this hill. I had to put the parking brake on.
Right.
We, pointed the tires towards the inside of the hill so that if it did in fact lose its brakes, it wouldn't just, go careening off the side of the mountain into somebody's house. It's the Hollywood Hills. So Mark slamming on the brakes. We get maybe 4 shots. We're already into overtime at this point, so it's kind of just.
The neighbor is already threatening to call the cops. He's pissed. It was.
And so we leave, and we hop on a flight with 3 hours after the shoot is done, and we have a gig on the East Coast, and one of our managers, his name is Jordy, has volunteered to take the Bronco back to Billy Bush, with a bouquet of flowers and a thank you. And if you're familiar with Los Angeles, we were up in the Hollywood Hills, and in order to get to Bush's house, you have to drive on Mulholland. Mulholland Drive is it's a 2-lane highway that weaves through the mountains of Los Angeles. And he's driving it back the next day, and there's tons of hills, there's tons of inclines and declines, and he comes to a red light, hits the brakes, and the pedal goes to the floor, essentially.
Oh my God.
So he's now in a runaway vehicle that doesn't belong to us. 1970, maybe 72, something like 68. It's one of the first models of it. And this thing is, basically 2 tons of steel going 70 miles an hour. Jordy ended up safely, thank God. The end of the story is that he finds an escape hatch, essentially an uphill, that he can take this thing up without using brakes and then pull the parking brake. But the poor guy needed therapy for 4 days after that. He thought he was going to die. He said he didn't wet his pants, but he sweat his shirt and his underwear. So, we don't know if it was piss or not, but
sweat.
Yeah.
Sweat.
Pucker factor. Pucker factor
and
pegged.
Yes, pucker factor. He could have made a diamond out of coal. But here's a testament to how great Billy Bush is. We told him it could have been our fault. We're not really sure. And that we were happy to pay for the replacement of whatever the brake situation was. And we never heard about it again. So, although we also haven't heard from Billy.
That tells me that Billy Bush might have known about this before he gave y'all the keys to the Bronco.
Right. He still hasn't talked to us, so we're not sure if we're on good terms or not. But he didn't send us a bill, and I think that really says a lot about Billy.
Mark, I read that the sunrise video, at least in some way, was inspired by stories your dad told you. I need this. Like how did that inspire the video?
Well, Cameron and I have known each other since 2008. My dad is a larger than life character, and the stories that he tells are always gigantic. They might be a little bit bigger than the truth, but every good storyteller exaggerates slightly. But my old man is a former Marine Corps attack and fighter pilot, and the U.S. Marine Corps, served in Vietnam, flew I think about 800 or 700, 800 sorties in Vietnam. Crash landed an A6 out at Yuma once. He's got a lot of stories. So this is a little bit of blending. It's a little bit of my old man, I think. It's a little bit of Top Gun. It's a little bit of Cameron's own machinations and mind as he wrote this, and it was his concept. But yeah, there's definitely a little bit of nodding. Cam and Jess and I are huge Top Gun fans, and we also have a ton of reverence and respect for active and former U.S. military members. So it was a chance for us to get have some fun, relive some Top Gun fantasies, and also tip our hat and honor the U.S. Marine Corps and all of our servicemen and women that are out there today. So we just had fun with it, man, and it was a wild day. We squeezed in one day in between shows in L.A. and then had to fly to New York. Cameron was editing this thing on the bus as per usual, carrying double duty. So tip of the hat and a big hoorah to Cameron for getting that thing done. But yeah, I think it turned out great. You know, we're storytellers, okay? None of us are servicemen, and you know, for us, it's a way to have some fun and to drive people to listen to our new single and to watch it. You know, Sunrise Tells a Story. The story is about, you know, one of those wild nights that's going to lead to a 2-day hangover. But instead of just a hangover, you maybe come out of it with the love of your life. You know, it's a retelling of those stories. So it's all a little bit of blend of the truth and, you know, fantasy, which is what we do anyhow.